Checking the galaxy map in transit, Ator manages to determine that they are heading for the Serpent Nebula, home of the Citadel. There is no data to tell them where they are, however. Exiting the mass relay, the escapees of the Void Wraith discover Ator was correct about their destination. As the Sentinel passed through the pink and purple nebula that shrouded it, the massive central hub of galactic civilization known as the Citadel appeared before them. Traffic control operators from the Citadel asked for identification and granted them permission to dock upon receiving it. After following the instructions to dock at a port on the Tesseri ward arm, the group exited Sentinel and were met by 4 armed SWCodex officers who escorted them up an elevator. Upon exiting the lift, one of the SWCodex officers stopped and cursed upon seeing an approaching Asari. The stern Asari seized control of the group from 2 of the SWCodex officers and directed them to follow her. Taking them past an outlook onto the Presidium, she led them into the main SWCodex offices. The group are immediately brought before a Turian SWCodex officer sitting behind a desk. He introduced himself as Captain Gallus Dentis, and the Asari that led them there as Sergeant Tadami. Captain Dentes asks the group the basic points of what happened, then interviews them each individually about their experience just prior to, during, and after the Void Wraith capture. When the interviews are concluded, Captain Dentes told them that he wants to run some background checks on them, and they were not to leave the Citadel. The group explore the Citadel in their own way. While Loghain tried to find his psychiatrist and caseworker, Dr. Savara, Tiala and Gold met a Solarian beverage salesman named Ozrin Yes, who was after Pyjak glands for an experimental drink. Hirokin goes to the Hanar consulate to see the Hanarch diplomat Gidanular he served under, and Ator finds a pretty young Asari named Rena, who is interested in him. Loghain discovered Dr. Savera had been speaking with Captain Dentes, and when they met, he sarcastically thanked her for selling him to slavers. She defended that's not what happened, and when Loghain mentioned the Turian captain that took him to Ilium, Captain Fowl, sold him out, she informed Loghain that Captain Fowl was found dead on Ilium. She told Loghain she believes that Captain Dentes has something in store for him, and that she'd like to talk with Loghain after his next meeting with Dentes. Tiala, Gold, Ator, and Rena entered Vortex to find drinking, dancing, and gambling. Tiala noticed a Volus arguing with an Asari about getting a job there dancing. The Asari seems doubtful, but promised him if he can find a dance partner willing to make a fool out of themselves for him, she'd give him a shot. Tiala stepped up and offered to be the partner for the would-be dancing Volus, Atares Dref. Tiala and Atares danced up a storm, and the Asari club owner agreed to hire Atares after all. While Gold gambled, Ator and Rena chatted over drinks, the flirty Asari suggesting he come to see her apartment. Ator took her up on the offer, where she asked him to join with her. He not only agreed, but even went so far as to take some antibiotics and remove his suit during the act. The group from the Sentinel all returned to SWCodex and met up with Captain Dentes and Sergeant Tadami again. Captain Dentes put an offer on the table to the group. He had been impressed with them and would like them to become an unofficial source of justice in the galaxy by forming an independent mercenary group who solves problems and rights wrongs. Being independent means they can do things that SWC couldn't, and also handle things Spectres either can't or won't get involved with, including venturing into non-council space. The whole thing is completely unofficial and off the books. They will even get to keep the Sentinel as their own ship. After some discussion, Loghain, Tiala, Ator, Hirokin, and Gold all agreed to the deal. The Solarian, Goram Telenon, said that he'd prefer to just put it all behind him and return home. The human female, Jane, seemed just as reluctant. Sergeant Tadami escorted these two out, while the 5 others all signed the deal. Captain Dentes said before they set things in stone, he has one final trial he wanted them to perform. A group of archaeologists on the planet Daratar had not been heard from in some time. He'd like the group to check it out. He also told the group that Teresa Goddard, the wife of the human male that was killed while they were escaping, lived nearby, and wondered if perhaps they could deliver sad news to her. Tiala offered to do it, feeling that she's most likely to be the most sympathetic. Loghain noticed Dr. Severa waiting for him in the SWC foyer. She brought up his new job and the deal he made with Captain Dentes, but Loghain merely feigned ignorance. When Dr. Severa felt Loghain was mocking her, she tried to tell him that she's not just the pencil-pushing ignoramus he thinks, mentioning that she did more than just her minimal military service deliberately to try and understand working with those in combat, and also served in the Relay 314 incident. She wondered what she has to do to get some semblance of respect from him, and he derisively said he'd let her know when it happens. When she brought up his future in the Turian military was in her hands, it struck a nerve, and he stubbed his cigar out on her forehead and left. Tiala found Teresa Goddard's home and delivered the sad news. Teresa was distraught and mentioned having just bought the apartment. She wanted to give Tiala something as thanks, but Tiala refused any payment or gifts. When Teresa asked if Tiala knew anyone looking for an apartment on the Citadel, Tiala became curious. After a brief tour, Tiala accepted to rent it for the group. Ator found Jane waiting at the docking bay. Jane asked him whether she could get a ride to the colony of Mukov now that the ship is his, and offered to pay for the transport. Ator agreed, then went inside to check out the Sentinel. While checking out the engine room, Ator was surprised by a quirky, eccentric young Asari who introduces herself as Tess, and told him she was the one who fixed everything and got the ship ready for them. Tess complained about her Omnitool malfunctioning, likely due to grease, and asked Ator if he would possibly get her a replacement repair kit dispenser, along with an upgrade for it. Ator does so, and when Tess was finished the work with her fixed Omnitool, Loghain asked how they could get hold of her. Tess says that she's always around the docking port and doesn't really go anywhere else. Hirokin commented on her mile-a-minute mannerisms, suggesting her father was probably Solarian. She said he was, according to medical tests, but that she never knew him. Tess also mentioned finding a strange vial of something in the bathroom, showing it to Etor. It was soon snatched out of her hand by Jane. Loghain confronted Jane about coming with them and the liquid vials she has. Jane claims it's a medicine she can only get from Ilium, and that she suffers from anemia. Loghain and Tiala didn't believe that she's not carrying drugs of some type, so Jane reluctantly suggested that they have the liquid tested to prove it's not. Loghain, Tiala, and Jane reached the Tesseri Medical Center, where they met the Solarian physician, Dr. Erelon Topolad. He agreed to test it for them, but couldn't identify it. Dr. Topolad assured them that whatever it wasn't a narcotic. The best he could ascertain is that it was some kind of biological catalyst to increase the production of something. Loghain and Tiala both agreed that since it was not illegal and or a drug, that they'd return it to Jane and still take her to Mukov. Dr. Topolad kept a small amount of the liquid for further study. Loghain and Tiala returned to the Sentinel with Jane, and when everybody had finished up and the ship was supplied, the group set off for Darata. Would you like to know more?